button. Okay, let's give this a second. Okay, we're going. We should be going. Okay, good evening. This is Molten Modular live tonight with Befaco. I hope you're doing all right this evening. Do please let us know in the chat just before we kick off that you can hear my voice, that you can hear Manu's voice.
Can you hear me, guys? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
And there's a bit of music. Can you hear the music?
I do.
So just let us know in the chat if you can hear that, and then we'll get right on with things. I'll leave that bubbling a little bit so you can hear my voice and everything else. That would be great. Lots of anticipation in the crowd. I like that. Okay, that's working. That's all working. Sorry, I haven't done this quite so complicatedly for a little while. Loud and clear, beep boop, all good. Good, well, great. Well, then here we are. So I'm Robin Vincent. If you don't know me from Molten Modular, you're very welcome this evening. And on this side, I have Manu from Befaco out in Spain. How are you doing, sir?
Not bad. Thank you for having me, Robin.
You're very, very welcome. It's always good to talk to you. We enjoy Befaco products, and we enjoy having you on. It's always a good time, always something interesting. And this evening we have something new to look at, and a couple of things which are almost new to look at, and all sorts of possibilities. But we'll get through what we can. We'll answer some questions from the chat. You're very welcome to throw questions in there, and we'll do our best to get to them. Not promising anything, of course, because we might just be too interested in what we're doing ourselves. But who knows? Yep. So how is Spain? How are you faring over there?
Oof, I'm melting. It's 9 in the evening, and I'm still melting. We are having such a heat wave this week, and I guess that complaining about that, some people will say, but here we are freezing. What are you complaining about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a very rainy day in the UK today, but we have had a bit of a week of it, a bit of a week of hotness. I mean, I imagine your stuff's going to come our way at some point. I'm told we have 100 days of sunshine. I can't remember when they started that, but yeah, it's hot. I mean, working in a shed, I don't know where. I mean, you've probably got air conditioning and sensible things like that, being in a hotter country, but I don't. I've just got a shed that boils me in the summer and freezes me in the winter. So that's nice.
Yeah, at least you have a shed. Some people do not even have a shed full of lovely gadgets.
No, this is true. And some good news for people who follow my channel is that the chickens, right, they've been moved about 50 yards that way, which doesn't solve the problem. If you've listened to my soldering videos I did on the Klasmata and the Stoichia, which we'll be talking about this evening at some point, it's full of cockerel all the way through. Because they were literally like 10 yards just here, and they were constant. But thankfully, we had a little bit of a tense engagement with our neighbours, and they've now moved them further off down the field, which is a good thing. So they're a little bit less prominent now. So that's super. Thanks for everyone turning up. Good to see you. Kevin, hi. K1, blah, blah, blah. Good to see you. K, Simply, Mark, good to see that it's all working. Thanks, Key, Martin, Dripping Purple, lots of interesting people in the chat this evening. Good to see you. You're very welcome to chat amongst yourselves or throw in questions, or you could just sit back and watch, because there's nothing more exciting than watching other people mess about with their modular, I find. So what should we do? What would be the best way to get stuck in? Should we get the new thing out of the way so that people aren't hanging around going, no, I just want to see the new thing? Maybe we should get stuck into that. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got a patch set up here. The new thing is called the Morph Fader, and it is tell us about it. Tell us about it, Manu.
So the easiest way of describing this is it's a 4-channel crossfader, basically. So with the addition of, it has a master fader that will fade from one of the groups to the other. So yeah, it's a very basic concept, like crossfading for 4 channels of them with one master control. But the idea came from synths morphing. So the idea of this is to be able to have one source group and then another soft group of things, either CV or audio, and then output it. So you can either have different kind of modulations and then change the kind of modulations to your sound sources, or to have two sets of sound sources and then crossfade from them as a regular audio crossfader. So yeah, and then it gets complicated, as we love to do in Befaco. So this is an intention. No, we try to do something that it has like a clear. We try. We do not succeed every time, but we try. That has like a very clear first reading. So hey, this is a two synths morphing thing. But then we are adding more interesting things. So for example, all the inputs are normal to 10 volts, and then every input has an attenuator. So you can either attenuate the signal you put in, or if you don't put anything, what you have with a pod, it's just the level of voltage present on that input, which is also super interesting.
Yeah,
because you could have just different setups of voltages. So you can have two static setups and do like a ping pam, which is quite interesting, I think. And it's simple, but still fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, the outputs are also normal. So well, there is another thing. All the outputs, the fourth output, it's the sum of all of them. So you can just plug one jack on the fourth output and then crossfade to both. So that's the sound of crossfading. So if you listen carefully when you are crossfading,
that's the squeak of
the squeak of the crossfade.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can crossfade from two groups. No, even have like a 2 4 channels mixers crossfading. No, so you are mixing 4 and 4, and then when you are plugging something on the output, you are removing that one from the mix. So you could do little groups. For example, you could have 3 of them crossfading in audio, and then one of them you plug it, you remove it from the mix and set it to CV, and then crossfade a CV source. So you want to have the audio and one CV source from here to there. So as you can see, it gets interesting. Let's say.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it plugged in for about a day, so I haven't had anywhere near enough time to explore all of it. But what I find interesting about it is that you suddenly have another idea, and you start off with something based on crossfade a bit of audio. Oh, that's an idea. Then you crossfade a bit of modulation. Oh, yeah, that's quite nice. But then you start going, oh, well, rather than crossfading between two things, I could just fade one thing in, or I could add those two together and make those, do something. Or, you just start to work out, you do more than one LFO, you've then got an envelope and an LFO, or you've got something else. And it becomes really, really interesting. And I suddenly sort of realized, I think, this afternoon as I was putting this patch together, that it could be something like a verse chorus change, or it could be a drop, or it could just be a variation, but it could be all of those things, and it makes itself very, very useful within performance, within trying to make a change, because that's one thing I'm trying to find within my own modular performances is how you can create variation, how you can change, because otherwise we're just doing 8 steps over and over again, and that can be interesting. We engage with that and we love that, but getting some variation, getting some change and development within a patch really starts to break it away from just being a sound demo into something more like a track. So this is turning out to be really interesting. But we should probably show it to people would be good at this point, because it's all very well talking about it.
I have to say that today I failed miserably to bring something. Because I was supposed to be doing this stream at Befaco, but I completely mistook the times. So I went home and then I tried to set up at home and I failed. So I also have here things. So today it's gonna be only Robin.
Well, that's
luckily for everybody.
Yeah, let the professional take charge.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So,
Exactly. I didn't want to tell it like that, but yeah.
so let me bring the overhead camera in, and here we have. I can point. Look, I can point there. There we go. So this is the Morph Fader here. I can do the Milo Melodies fingers thing. I've got it already patched up. I mean, we'll take it apart, I imagine, in a minute and just try to show things a bit more basically. But I wanted, because I got something that didn't sound too bad, I thought, right, let's keep that, right? And then we can use that as a starting point, as some kind of demonstration. Now, it won't be clear as to what's going on. I mean, you can see, perhaps, I've got these couple of light up cables to try to emphasize the positioning or the plugging in of some LFOs. So you can see that those are happening. The two... that's audio, these two up here. So these are set to audio. In fact, there's a switch here. It switches between CV and audio. And as it's down, that's audio. And that affects how the crossfade works, I believe. It's like, is that the right thing to say? Audio crossfades are different to CV crossfades?
Yeah, it does. It does because of the sonic perception of sound. So you need to have like what you call the equal power curves.
Okay.
So if you do it linear, you start to get one volume down and the other start to be up. Then you have kind of like a hunch in the mid. No hunch. How do you call it in English? Like the volume will not be even.
Yes.
So
okay.
with this different curve response, the audio will maintain the loudness through all the progression.
Yes, exactly. So let me just turn it up, and when we can experience the awesomeness of the patch. And so before I've got one. What have I got? I've got the even VCO Befaco, of course. I think I've only got that and a filter. Just trying to see if I've got anything else plugged in. No, that's it. So it's just one sequence through one oscillator. That's what I've got. So what's happening is that this CV input here at the top, this is doing the crossfading for us. It's so the crossfade, which you can see hidden away by these cables down here, you can't see very easily, but there is an actual physical crossfader. And this is the master crossfader that does each side, one side to the other side. You can see the lights move as I crossfade from one to the other. But at the moment I've got this controlled via this CV input here, and that's controlling all channels all at once, doing that master crossfade kind of thing. You can see the lights move over there, but you can address these individually if you plug into all four CV inputs. Let me take that out for a minute so that we're going to do it physically. So all the way over to the left, it's these things here which are then going in and coming out of here. That makes sense. So inputs over here, A and B inputs, A over on the left, B over on the right, and then the resultant output coming out the bottom. So this one here, this first one is going to the filter, and that's taking channel 1. So that's taking either a triangle waveform or a square waveform from the even VCO. So at the moment we've got a triangle, and then as I crossfade it turns into a square wave. Same oscillator, just as a different waveform output. But simultaneously, the next bunch down, I've got this is going, where is that going? All the way over there. So that's going to an envelope. So I've got an LFO and an envelope going into A and B here. So the LFO and then the envelope. So this is affecting the filter. So as we change to the square wave, is also bringing in an envelope to the filter. And then back to an LFO to the filter. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what's happening there? Do let me know in the chat if you can't hear my voice and the music. If the music's too loud, just give us a poke. But I'm just assuming that that's okay. So I've got audio being crossfaded, and I've got control voltage being crossfaded. And then at the bottom here, I've got 2 LFOs, I think. Oh, why did I change that cable? Oh, who knows? 2 LFOs, which are then running to the drum patterns that you can hear, I think. Oh yeah, there's definitely, you can hear something weird going on with the drums, and that's because I've got this output plugged into the pitch control on the Erica Synths drums. So there's just some variation going on. I've plugged in one side, so it's only there when it's over on the A side. When I put it over to B side, it tightens up. And of course you can sit in the middle, so I've got both waveforms. I've got both the LFO and the envelope going on into the filter. And that's all there. And this entire variation of sound and modulation is all being done by this one single module, which is, extraordinary, really. And you can, if you wanted to be a DJ, you could DJ it, man. If you wanted to be. So that's the idea. That's really the idea. It's simple, but it's extraordinarily effective and gets your mind going as to so I'm usually using one piece of modulation in things, whereas now I can potentially crossfade between 2. And maybe if I had, I don't know, a couple of those LS1 sound machine strips or something that I could stick control into these other CVs, I could crossfade them all individually in different times and different places. Or something else that generates control voltage, of course. That's the versatility that it gives you. Otherwise, you can just do the whole lot on CV1, and you can take the whole lot out of output 4. But because I've got a mix here of audio and control voltage, I want them to all to go to individual things in this particular patch. And so taking the mix out would not be appropriate, I don't think. So there you go. That's the idea. Any questions out there in YouTube land? Yeah, well, I can spend the rest of the evening doing that if nobody minds. So yeah, that's the general idea with that. It's not overcomplicated. It seems a bit baffling to start with because it's not like anything you've quite seen. It's not familiar. It's a load of strange things in strange places. And the lag fader lag rather knob is quite funny, which is this red one here. If I turn that up, it just takes an age to crossfade. And it does it by itself. So it's lagged, and then bring it back, and it gradually makes its way back again. Which is nice, which means you can just go whoop and then go off and do something else, and it will catch up. Yeah, but that's what I've found so far. Am I missing anything out, Manu?
No.
Oh.
No, you cover all the bases. Basically, I think it's what I was mentioning before. It's trying to get like a simple concept or a simple set of features that will allow you to combining CVs and audios and maybe not using a CV input and just using a CV level change from a fixed point to a changing point which really depends on the patch. No, you have there the patch, and you have some audio, and then some control. That's the nice thing. So there is not like a right way of using this thing. It gives you the chances not to do it.
And it does, as I say, it makes your brain start moving, thinking, what else can I do? Once you've got past the basics, I'm just going to crossfade between two things playing a different tune. I mean, when I first plugged it in yesterday, I was crossfading between two oscillators, two tunes, going, all right, this is like a verse and this is like a chorus, something completely different. And it wasn't until this afternoon that I suddenly thought, well, I could just use two waveforms rather than trying to have two different tunes going on. I could have just one oscillator but two different sounds going on very easily. It's as you say, it's like morphing between presets on one of those posh synthesizers. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's that we have to say that it's coming from the idea is coming from the octatrack concept, where you have this fader when you have two synths, and then you are crossfading the whole thing. Of course, octatrack is a monster. This is 4 channels, which is all right, but that was the idea, the morphing between two synths and
yeah. Well, Signal Sounds actually asks, how does it work crossfading between two trigger sequences? Which is a good question, because I was going to talk about the first thing I did, of course, was try to crossfade between two sequences, which of course didn't work. Well, it does work, but you have it works over here and it works over here, and everything in between is nonsense. But it's because it's blending all these parts together. Would it work triggering wise?
If you set it to to audio, it might work nicely. The thing is that as when you are crossfading, what you will be doing is making your triggers shorter. So it might be that depending on what you are controlling, at some point the sequence that it's being fade out will stop sounding, stop doing things, or maybe depending on because logical levels, they have some windows of when it considers that it's low or when it considers it's high. But anyway, it's gonna be nice, because you will have in the middle, you will have both sequences, and then you have one sequence on the left and one sequence on the right. So maybe it's not as performative, no? You cannot be doing it. Wouldn't be that it's gonna be mixing when one or the other happens. It's gonna be a bit like yes or no. But if you are CV controlling that channel, for example, it will allow you externally to state that at this point use this sequence, at this point use both, at this point use only the other one, which I think it will provide very interesting combinations as well.
Well, I mean, we could always try it. That's always a thing. I mean, let's see what I can pull off in terms of trying to demonstrate that. So I already have something. What do I have going on? I've got these fellas here, these Euclidean things kicking out stuff. Is that going to be obvious enough? Maybe I need to generate something from the variegate. Let me do that. Right. So let me use this bottom one, CV. So this is channel 4. I'm going to have to put that to. It's already going to a drum. Let's put that to a trigger. Whatever's in there. I'm going to take that. Number 2. To there. So that should be doing a thing. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, brilliant. No, not that one. Alright, so that's going a little bit chunky. Let's see if I can calm that down. Channel 2. Okay, that's some triggers, I think, coming out of the Variegate 4 Plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's some other ones. Right, Right, let me see if I can do something more obvious again. So channel 4, probability, let's stick all that up. On track, put that nice and stupid fast. So the answer is kind of yes. I'm just not very elegantly making this happen at the moment. Let me think.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a matter of 3 stages, no? Like fully left, fully center, fully right. To have like the mix of both, only one or the other. Yeah, it wouldn't be soft.
It likes to take... Oh, let's check on my levels on each. This is set to CV. Am I on channel 4? Yes, I am. Yeah, so you're right. I'm now getting both of them together in the middle.
Yeah, it seems also that when you are on some stages in between, as the triggers get smaller, maybe the module, the drum, the pico drum, will start not to process some triggers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could be. What am I? I'm quite getting this right at the moment. I'm trying to work out. It's that Variegate 4 Plus thing where it just like melts your brain every now and again, and you just go, so why is that not doing what I think it should be doing? That's because I'm on track mode again. Okay, put that into there. Alright, put it back to there. Turn everything off. No, that's still going. Okay, there we go. That worked. Alright, you can't see I'm fiddling over here with this trigger sequencer. So as I crossfade, which is difficult for you to see on the camera as such, but I'm all the way over to A, so I'm just getting a steady beat through. All the way over to B is a slightly more syncopated beat. And in between we get both going on. So, you know, that can work. If I try to do the same with a sequence, just for fun, let's take that out of there. Let's take that in there, take that out. That's in there, plug that in there. That's not just because I undid the thing with the thing. Okay. So that's the effect actually of adding voltage. Because the second channel here is set up high, that's just kicking out voltage, this one here. So as I crossfade, it's just adding voltage to it. If I turn that all the way down, oh, it goes down, of course. It's going to be bipolar, look at that. Or something. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, let me get another sequence. Are you following this? Cool, well, I almost thought we might have practiced beforehand, but that would have been nuts. Okay, so we've now got another sequence. So that other sequence sounds like this. That's no good. Let's try and make it do something else. Where am I? Notes. Oh my god! I don't know, something is going weird today. So, okay, so I've got two things plugged in, two sequences plugged in. As I fade between them, who knows what will happen? Let me, where's that going to there? That's going to change that. I'm just going to take that straight into there. Yeah, so that's interesting because it does absolutely morph between the two things. You know, it morphs between the two sequences, and so you get that interaction between the two lots of voltage that are coming out as you go from one to the other. So you absolutely can do that. I think the first time I did it, it just scared me, and I thought, I don't know what I'm doing, and so moved on to other things. But yeah, I mean, it is doing kind of what you think it will. There's nothing, you know, when you think about what happens when I put two voltages together, well then that is what happens. You get some interaction, you get some adding and subtracting, and then you're over to the other one.
Yeah, about the sequence, what made me think on the sequence, I don't know, maybe you know, are there any modules whose there is something that will change depending on the trigger height? Because normally we are used to yes or no, but are they using as a, I don't know, like accent?
Oh well, no, true enough, I suppose. Isn't accent usually done as almost like a separate track, like a velocity track? I don't.
Maybe someone on the chat can tell us. We have
I mean, I think there's
clever guys and girls.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I think some modules do require a certain level of trigger, I suppose, in order to hit that thing. But most of them are just looking for a rising edge, aren't they? Anything that's going straight up is like they'd consider to be a bit of a trigger.
I know a couple of modules that they are clones for the 808 drum machine. They are out of production for a while, and I know that they did have some. It was a bass drum. That it had a difference between depending on the height of the trigger. Anyway, I think that it must have to do with when you have a fixed decay attack time on a percussive module. Some modules, it happened to us on the key call. Some modules, depending on how short or how high the trigger was, it didn't allow the envelope to fully rise. So I don't know if this.
I see.
I don't know. I was curious. Maybe you or someone on the chat.
Yeah, well, Neil says that the disting uses trigger height for volume, but then the disting is crazy. So
yeah,
I don't think that should be ever used as an example of how the rest of the world works.
Yeah,
I've got one over there.
Not me.
Well, it's a funny thing because I was determined not to get the disting into this particular rack, so I'm trying to build it for a particular purpose. But it was the only thing I had that had a delay in it that would fit. And it's like, oh, I've got to use the disting. I mean, it's a wonderfully useful module, as I will always say. Preface everything by saying it's a wonderfully useful module. It's just the most infuriating module I've ever owned. But I will keep it because it keeps coming up useful.
Yeah, my problem with multi-purpose modules like disting or ornament and crime or our leech is that I have a lot of possibilities and I'm checking them. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at this. Oh, groovy. I like something and the module suddenly becomes that. Yes. And I don't change it again. It happened with the Dervish module. I made it on a workshop and they put it like 88 different effects of something crazy. I found a shimmer I loved and I've been playing with that shimmer for 3 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Never change it.
No, well, that's it. I mean, I can never remember how to change the distinct. That's the thing. I'm always then having to go and have a look. And
Don't change it. It's a
scratching my
delay.
head.
Sorry, it's a delay. So
Yes,
suddenly,
that's
from
right.
now on, your distinct becomes a delay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Although it was flashing very strangely, I think, because it's slightly crammed into the side of the case, and it's a little bit. There's some stuff underneath it, so I had to sort of push it in now. And if it bends a little bit, it just starts going a little bit weird. But then I guess most things would. Most things would. Yeah, stereo tape delay. That's exactly what I'm using it for. So yeah, there you go.
Delay. Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, when that was the Morph Fader, really. There's not a whole lot more to say about it. It is a great idea. I love the way it moves between two things, and it generally does do, it allows you to take just a single sound, as I did, like a single oscillator, and make it very different just at a touch of a slider. It's good, man. It's really nice. And I love the fact that it's CV and audio. It's not just one thing, and because of that, I've got waveforms in there and I've got modulations all in there. So it becomes like a patch all by itself, I'm going to probably need another one. I don't have room for another one.
I'm glad that you are loving it. That there was loads of love put on that module and hours of making it right. Now when you see this switch, audio and CV, it looks like, okay, yeah, just let's change the curve. Let's change the curve. You should see Pascual and Jose that were working on this module for I don't know how long. Changing values and doing this and trying different ICs. At the beginning, we started with one IC, but then, no, I'm going to go back to the old one. Woohoo! And it was tweaked like with so much care and love just to have it right. Well, right. We think it's right. So I'm glad that you are liking it.
Yes, I should also point out actually that you sent this to me as a completed module. I mean, crazy time. But if you want to see a build on it, then Synth DIY Guy has just released, I believe, his video on the build earlier, which is great. So do go and check that out. I do hope to do some kind of demo video on it. It's just a matter of fitting it in. That's kind of why we're doing this live stream, really. So I had a whole load of Befaco stuff to kind of work on. The couple of builds I did last week and this and bits and pieces, and I thought, sod it, let's just get together and talk about it. Otherwise I'm just never going to fit it in. But
it's perfect. I really prefer like we have this chance just to chat and to have a direct feedback conversation on what's going on. Rather, a video is nice. A demo video is always nice. For example, something I told Kinkas, and I think I told you too, that maybe it would be also nice to have like a build session with it's not like being on a workshop, but being with someone that can help you or answer questions, or maybe talk about the procedure. I think it's also a very nice flow.
Yeah, I mean, I did back the end of last year, I did a modular DIY week, and in one of those we did do a bit of a build along. Although I never thought for a moment that anyone would actually be building along with me. And had I thought about it a bit more, I could have made that a little bit more interactive. Thinking about it, I just got on with it and was just talking rubbish as I soldered. But it's an interesting idea to do something perhaps a bit more zoomy, where people book in to do a thing.
I've seen people that they have a Discord channel or a Discord server. So there is like a kind of forum space for people to talk and share things about the topic, if it's a YouTube channel or something like that. And it gives you the chance to open a chat room, or a voice room. So people can get on the voice room like we are doing now.
Yes.
And they can hop in and share their screens. So you can live play someone into the stream. Of course, most likely you will need someone.
I'll have my production team sort that technology out.
Yeah, having makeup, please, makeup.
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, how about we talk a little bit about Rebel Tech then?
Yes,
Can you fill
super
us
nice topic.
in? Yeah, can you
Yes.
fill us in on what's that all about, and why is it anything to do with you?
Um, all this is because, sorry, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, this start because Martin Klang from Rebel Technology moved to Barcelona a couple of years ago. So he moved from the UK to warmer lands, and
Yes.
so he's been living here in Barcelona, and at some point he rented or had a table with us in our working space. So he was there. He came there to work on his things, and then to have us there giving opinions and asking him to do things, this and that. So for many years we met him, and we said sometime that we should do something together. So the first thing that we did was the leech module. So Martin, when he moved, he has a full-time job, and
Just
so we say, okay, yeah, we are seeing now the
I just
website.
thought I'd bring in their website just for a moment.
Yep.
I hope that hasn't killed our audio. Sometimes that happens. 1 second, I'm just checking. No, that seems to be going all right. I've done this before when I've brought in a web page and then it just mutes out our audio because it's assuming that that's playing something. But I think we're still going out. Just check
Yep,
the chat.
maybe.
1 second.
Okay, chat. Are we still here?
Yeah, can you still hear us in the chat? Just let me know before we get too into it. You can see the screen and we can still hear us. Sorry to
Yeah, maybe
sound so numpty.
we can keep on and then stay for 2 hours talking, just you and me, without realizing that the stream is off.
Yeah, audio good. No, okay. So yes, so please, yeah, carry on. So this is what we're looking at on the screen is the Rebel Tech's current website, which has these modules in here. Oh, look, I hadn't noticed that before. When I mouse over, it turns into your version of it. That's interesting. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. So yeah, carry on telling us about.
So yeah, so we made this collaboration with Martin, and we developed the hardware for Leech, which is basically a new iteration on something that Martin already had figured out. So although it says there Befaco Rebel, what we did is to do a Befaco front panel kind of vibes and choose the set of controls, but all the job, everything was already done by Martin. The old platform was already there. But then these new modules you see here in black, it was like the next step that naturally happened, that Martin doesn't have the time to be full time with this, or at least when he does, he's only one person. So we are helping Rebel Technology on the production side. So this is something I want to point out, that of course if we are manufacturing and we are sending them around resellers and the look and feel, you see the bananas and the Narlis, I have to say that these are Rebel Technology products. It's and this look and feel, this was something agreed with Martin, that there were, well, first we like black, so we had strong opinions about the visuals. So we thought that it would be nice to have like this alternate front panel in black with the drawings, the design. If you put the modules side by side, it will have like a full design. So if you put it in some way, see this one, you see the drawings in black. So if you place them, you will have like the full drawing, rounded drawing. Super beautiful.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, but basically what we are doing as well with Rebel Tech, it's we are doing the production of his things, and of course he's sitting there for 2 years surrounded of Spaniards, loud Spaniards providing opinions. The poor guy. Yeah, I think that he's keeping up very well on not falling to all Befaco opinions.
You have to stand your ground, don't you? I suppose.
Exactly. And Mr. Klang knows his way. Definitely he does.
So this is the lich as well. Tell us a little bit about that. I'm just going to grab my one. I've got one over here. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, for anyone that already knew the Rebel platform before, from the old pedal times or the Magus and Wizard times, this is an online platform that will put DSP code into your hardware, basically speaking. So people can use different kind of programming languages to do their own patches. But the nice thing of this is that it's been going on for a while, and now there are more than 300 patches, so you can get lost distinct style on features.
Yeah. So this is, as you say, this is the like the OWL pedal and OWL module that Rebel Tech did. That's right, isn't it? And,
it's using the same platform.
Yeah. And my understanding is that you plug it in, you've got the USB port on it, you plug it into your computer, you go to the website, and there's a whole pages and pages of patches. By patches, we mean things like it could be an oscillator, it could be a modulator of some kind, it could be an effect, those sorts of things. And these functions or firmwares, if you're talking in a mutable instrument kind of way, can be put together in a relatively easy programming language, and you can build your own, put it together as some kind of patch, and then that goes into the lich and you use it as that thing. Can you store more than one patch in it at a time?
You can store many.
Right.
At the moment, with the new firmware, you can store 20.
Right, great.
Well, it's not a matter of how many you can store, it's a matter of the screen. As you can see, the patch selection, it's done by an 8 display segments, 8 segment display, and an encoder. So basically you can load as many as you can, but the representation, the number, will change from 0 to 9, and then from A to F with a new firmware that was released this week, by the way.
Okay.
So
Nick in the chat asks whether it's Java or C++ or what is
C++. It's
okay.
C++. C++ and Faust, Max Gen, Pure Data. It's quite a few of them. And now that they are super active on behind it, it's super nice. I'm on the Discord channel, the Rebel Discord channel, and they are monsters in there, like all day. Floating to destroy the universe as we know it. It's great, and they are implementing new features now. The old platform, the hardware has a memory, so you can load sounds on this memory and trigger the sounds like sampler. For example, the USB audio implementation is on its way. Right now, if you plug it to your computer, it will pop up as a microphone. So the left and right input will be sent to the computer straight away, which is all right. No?
Yeah. Well, as you say, I mean, I remember we looked at this first time last, I don't know, was it October or something last year, when you had a bit of a live stream day over at your way. Yeah, and I really, my head couldn't quite grasp what on earth it was you were trying to tell me about this thing.
Also, we were so focused on doing the whole production of the event, lots of live acts, and we had like 7 hours stream, something like that, with you and Mylar Melodies. It was like,
that's right.
So on top of that, doing a decent presentation of a product turned out to be challenging.
Yeah, particularly one that potentially is complicated, because it's one of those things that could be anything, but that's kind of the point. You have to see it as a blank almost. It's like a blank module that you can make it be whatever you want it to be. It's like a disting, but with an actually usable interface. That way you could see it as that, or trying to think of what other things are a bit like that. Oh, well, there's all sorts of things like that out there. Things like the Empress and the
the
Soya, you can do together.
Soya one, yeah, and also the Mod Duo or the Mod Duo Dwarf, which is in a pedal format. That one is fantastic. I mean, it's very, very nice. You have to admit, it's like, come on, So you have like this web configurer. So you see it's more focused on guitar pedals, although
Yes.
it also have synths and things. But then you physically see pretty boxes and you connect them. It's very user friendly, let's say. We
Yeah.
have to admit that this platform it's not that it's user friendly, but it's very geeky. It's super
It is a bit
geeky.
geeky, yeah, it is a bit geeky. I've just got mine here. I just wanted to see if I could ease this off.
Oops.
Just wanted to see what it
Oops.
was. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things like the Daisy platform knocking out there. Noise Engineering have used it. Qubit have used it. Noise Engineering, of course, have started introducing, using it as a DSP, which they can then upload different firmwares in, which is interesting. But this is how am I going to, I know what I'll do. I'll do this. And then a bit of that, and this is the chip that's inside it. There you go. Secrets been revealed.
Yeah, that's the revision 7 of the hardware. So the hardware since the old pedal times got a few upgrades. So for example, the small chip on the top right, it's the audio codec that was changed on this revision to have more quality, lower noise floor. So it's way better. Then there's the other small one you see on the bottom. It's the memory that I mentioned, where you can load samples. Then you have RAM and the microcontroller that was also changed. And there is another revision of this board that it's proven working, but needs firmware support, which has even better microcontroller with more RAM, more power, more everything.
These things are getting extraordinary, aren't they, these days?
Yeah, they are indeed. It's fascinating to see this magic happening. If you're coming from a more analog oriented design way, when you see this black box, this magic box that will do all sorts of things. Wow.
Yeah. I don't thank you for the headers though, because this is a kit, just to fill you in. This is a kit that I'm halfway through building. The reason that I'm halfway through building is because I destroyed a thing on it. You can see this here capacitor, because it gets trying to put these boards together. I could not get these two things to play well, so I got this fat thing here, and then this capacitor is on that side of the board. I thought, I got a brilliant idea, right? I'll take this capacitor out. I'll take it out, stick it on the back. What a brilliant idea that is. So you know how you take components out, you bath them in some ultraviolet light. So, no, go on, how you do it. How I do it, I stick tweezers in and bend them so it's really under pressure. Then I solder on this side so it goes twang. That's my patented method of removing components. But as I did that, unfortunately, I completely ripped out this other thing which was next to it that I hadn't noticed that I was embroiled in. And so I ripped that out. All the legs came off. I spent half an hour trying to solder the legs back on to it's like a transistor or what was it? Something. I can't remember.
It's something.
40 40 48
40 something.
Something.
It's a voltage reference.
There we go. Anyway, I ripped it in half, so it just ain't going to work. So I wasn't able to finish this in time for this evening, which is a shame. But never mind. I'll have something on this at some other point. But yes, headers are my favourite thing, and they weren't all the right size, so that was just a joy in getting those shaped up.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, you got the first kit version,
right?
And we didn't realize about the fact of that fat guy there.
Yes.
That makes people's life miserable. So
see that's the problem when I had this kit for a little while and I hadn't got around to doing it. That's always a fatal thing, because by the time I get to do it, you've moved on and improved it. So never mind.
I'm sorry, you were one of the damnificated. That's this word in Spanish, damnificados.
It will look awesome though. So it's my own fault for not getting around to it, as I say. But there we go. But the other things that we can talk about while we have this screen up is the Klasmata and what's the name? How do you pronounce the Stoichia?
I will call it Stoichia.
Stoichia, okay.
But most likely I would be wrong.
I did look it up and stuff. You know, I'm not trying to be an idiot all the time, but then I just have to laugh at myself, and I end up making myself look like an idiot, and that's just how things go. But I mean no offence in my pronunciations. So we have these two things. They are the same but different. That shouldn't be there. We have, I'm going to have to just unplug it so that I understand what on earth's going on. Oh, I've got a patch cable in my beer. That's no good. So both of these are Euclidean based modules. Euclidean being some algorithm or some form of generating rhythmic something or others. Tell us all about it.
Well, maybe not all, but you were, but some. You are totally right. It's so they are rhythm generators based on an algorithm that it's based on some sort of pattern distribution, which
pattern
is
distribution.
This. Yeah. So basically, it's giving you divisions of time or places where to put the triggers on a meaningful way. Let's say it like that. So you can control how feel is gonna be of hits and how long you want the sequence to be. And the thing is that this is a mathematical thing, and loads and loads of folkloric music from different countries, they have this sort of divisions, and it fits in. So it's like this realization that the music it's also mathematics, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that Mr. Euclid wasn't really thinking about Cuban rhythms particularly when he put this together. Let me see if I can get some sound from here. That's going, where's that going? Over there. And that's then doing that. That's going to there. So I only want that one. That doesn't sound very good. Let's mix out that to there. That's to there. That's because I turned it down. Look at that. There we go. I've got a click going on. So just to play with this, I mean, I've built these, which was fine. I tested them, which is good. So I've got them to work, and I fiddled about with them, but I haven't investigated them in order to be able to tell anybody intelligently what is actually happening. However, we can go through a few knobs just to have a look. So I've got a clock going in the bottom. I'm just going to look at Klasmata for the moment, the single channel one. We've got a clock going in the bottom. This is the output, which is going to my little drip machine over here. My T-Networks from ADAC. What are we preferring? That one? That one? That one. And you can see the flashing LED here is mirroring the sound that you're hearing. And we've got at least 3 knobs which do something, and then 2 knobs which do something else, is my understanding.
Yeah, those two are the attenuators for the CV.
Okay,
attenuators. 2 CV. Yeah. So you have the initial point of the sequence on that one. Then you have how long the sequence is gonna be, and then how crowded this. Yeah, that's you can make longer sequences there, and then you can say how many hits you want on your sequence, how feel, how.
So that's all of them. As I pull that back, it starts dropping them out. Just take that reverb down a little bit. I mean, of course, when you talk about Euclidean rhythms, you talk about Vlad's Euclidean circles. Yeah, that's the module that everybody thinks of. The one with the three eyes that glow desperately bright at you that you see on everybody's
Yeah. Vladimir Pantelic was on the chat. So.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the one that everybody thinks of, and the brilliant thing about that is just how visual it is. You can visualize the movement of those those points on a circle and moving around, and you can see it and visualize it better. With this, you don't really have that, but it's also kind of simpler, more straightforward. But it just means that rather than using the kind of the visual clues, you have to dig down a little bit in wondering what the actual knobs are doing in order to produce the effect that you're after. But mostly, I mean, my experience of this so far, hey, look, there you are in the chat, is that it's done mostly on feel, to be fair. You just kind of turn it a little bit and then you go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I want. I mean, what you probably need is something to measure along with it, just to give you an idea of what it's doing. So if I was to bring my kick back in again, if I can get my disaster of a variegate to do what I think it should be doing, let me just...
It's going to refuse to do it, you know that.
Yeah, that's not a long enough cable. All right, I'll have to bring in... No, I won't. Yes, I will. That'll do. Is that long enough? Could be. Bring that in to there. I've lost my output for that. Output to... No. Oh, there it is. Stand by. Now I'm going to need to probably, there's no telling whether these are clocked in the correct kind of time space thing. I'm just going to take that out of there. And then, come on, you can do this. Track 2, probability, or I could just make it not do it quite so often.
Nice one.
That's slightly better. Yeah, so you kind of get a feel for
kind of
how off the beat those things are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so within this are kind of essentially different patterns, aren't they? The best setting for Stoichia is all knobs 3/4 up. That's a good patch memory that is, mate.
Yeah,
really
all
good.
3/4, all goes to 11. Easy. Yeah, Classmata and Stoichia are basically the same.
Yeah.
Classmata is CV controlled, while Stoichia are 2 channels without CV, but you have 2 independent channels, which is also nice.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, when I was trying to find the manual for it or any kind of explanation, because when I was first testing it, trying to work out whether it was working, I was looking at the Stoichia and couldn't work out what I was doing. So I then went to look at the Classmata manual, thinking it's much simpler, and it says, oh, this works just the same as the other one. Go and see the other one. It's like, oh, damn it. Damn it. I need something simpler. So then you've got, as you say, you've got CV control. So I could put, let's put an LFO in it just for fun, just to see what happens. All right, let's put it in that one. It's got a bit military now. So I guess that's just, going to be constantly varying what's going on, or moving one of these around.
I think that one is for you are changing the length of the pattern. That's the feel. Yeah. Nice.
Super. Now I've got, let's just turn it down a bit. I've got the other one running as well. So well, sod it. Let's take the output. So I've got that one. I'll plug that into there. And I got, what's this from? Anything important? No, that's good. Let's take that. Woo. Take the other output. Plug that into channel 3. Can you see that over there? Oh, just about. And that should be producing all sorts of different things now. I mean, we're having a serious party now. See, the funny thing is, as somebody said in the, as Ape was saying, that it is very military stuff. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a groove. I mean, what I'm looking for is a bit of a groove, and I think it does have that. I mean, I found with the random rhythm that I've had for quite some time, the Mona random rhythm, that did tend to get in step with itself a little bit too easily, I found, as opposed to finding something which changes. Of course, I mean, you can, working with it, you can get it to do all sorts of extraordinary things. But I increasingly found that I just ended up with something very, very steady and straight. And so something a bit more Euclidean suggests to me that that's not the case. And this is certainly what this is doing at the moment. It's just a matter of finding the right thing. Yeah, cool. But I mean, of course, they don't have to be used for drums. You can use them as gates and triggers for envelopes or other bits and pieces to cause some kind of event or something else to occur. So having a couple of things like that. I mean, the Stoichia, because of its dual channelness, does appeal, I think, a little bit more. But then, as you say, putting a little bit of variation into the Klasmata is also interesting. Yeah. But I mean, one of the
CV control is fantastic.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I will say that pricing wise, something I didn't mention in the build videos because I didn't know at the time, but the pricing is very keen on these. I think the pricing on the Rebel Tech site has dated a little bit and has been sort of I don't know, am I speaking out of term? I hope I'm not speaking out of term, but I think when I saw these that they were more keenly priced, perhaps, which makes them very attractive. So around about €100 were they for the kits? I think.
Plus taxes.
Plus taxes.
Something. Yeah.
Oh, we don't care about tax. But yes, so and they were really good, straightforward little builds as well. There was no weirdness, no trickiness. It was all very straightforward. So a good beginner's level, I think. Eurorack.
I agree. I think it's quite beginner friendly. That's true that if you face some problems with the microcontroller, it's like this black box that if it doesn't work, it will cause some frustration. What the hell? What did I did wrong?
I don't know what you're talking
about. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that can happen. That's been known to happen.
Yeah, but the build itself, I find it quite pleasant. It's a Sunday morning build. It will drive you through. It's very nice and it's priced right. I think it's a simple kit. Now we can produce it at the Befaco main building. We can produce them. So the price can be right.
Cool.
I have to say that it's a pity that I made the mistake with the timing, because it would have been nice, instead of having the back of my room to be in Befaco and actually take a look. We moved to a new space 6-7 months ago. Yeah. So it's still enjoying it.
Do you feel settled in there now? So it must have been quite hard to do a move during the thing that we're in the middle of. End of now. Yes. During the thing that year we had.
Yeah.
How are you settling in? Has it worked out?
Yes. The thing is that we have, all of us have been forced to change the way we do things and to take out the best of us on a bad situation. So it's been difficult for everyone. So in our case, it was like, okay, we need to crank it up to 11 and go up to 11 for a few months. Either that or we stay at home and suck our thumb.
Yes.
So so we had like this plan on working from home, but some people on the space and organizing the team, it was all right. Then we organized some people that went to the new space and were working there. Half of Befaco team actually lives in the building in front.
Oh wow.
So yeah, half of Befaco team can crawl out of bed and fall in Befaco. So yeah, there was a, there was a big need of organizing this mess, but yeah, the thing we have it's a bunch of people that goes up to 11 and work well. Anyway, it wasn't that terrible. If you are working, you are allowed to do you were allowed to do some sort of things, and if you are driving a truck full of
Yes.
boxes, uh, that could be done by the end of 2020. Okay, you need to wear a mask, and then they're gonna stop you and ask, hey, where are you going? But you can do it. So we did, and we survived.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, it must be really hard for the smaller makers out there. Oh, I mean, although I suppose thinking about it, many modular makers can kind of do it on their kitchen table, you know, because the
Literally.
operations of that, are that sort of size. So it's been an interesting time. Obviously, are you thinking about Super Booth at this point?
Yes, I am. Super Bowl had been delayed, and they have been working to try to do something to begin with, and then something safe and something appealing. And I think that how is the situation and how I see all the communications, it seems that it's gonna be all right. We are gonna be there for sure, and
Great.
yeah, and so looking forward, and we are missing so much that to meet people. We can do this, and we can have chats, and the technology of this century allowed us to be communicated. But I mean, it's not the same having a beer and laughing and reading the people's vibes, which is fantastic.
It's a weird thing though, because I mean, it's been so long in some ways that it's hard. It's somehow hard to imagine that closeness you have at a show. You know, that physical closeness, because there's part of trade shows or synth shows or these sorts of events where you're going to be smelling some blokes either as aftershave or as BO, and he's just eaten his his breakfast sandwich, and he's then speaking to you very loudly into your face. You then the next day you wake up and you've got the flu. Anyway, this is all standard kind of Super Booth stuff. And most of the ideas of that just fills me with complete horror now after this year of not being close to anyone. You know?
I luckily I've been traveling around and seeing how people in different cultures take these public events. And for example, I was amazed in Nam. People were giving around hydroalcoholic bottles, but just to wash your hands. You are shaking hands with strangers all day long. So the fact that they already put importance on wash your hands. So that was like a normal thing. If you go to any Asian country, they are very aware of how disgusting it is to be sharing your flu with everyone.
Yes.
So they understand that if you have the flu and you are coughing, they put a mask. And they go with a mask, and if the situation is not proper, they even stay home.
Yeah.
So things that have been put on us, like you have to. Some cultures or some places are already doing it for a while. So what I'm going to is it's proven that humans can behave, and if you are going to an event and we are going out of a strange situation like this we had, at least wear a mask. Or have some hydroalcoholic gel with you and wash your hand, and you go, you check your stuff with your mask, then you leave. Ciao. can be done on a decent way where everybody is safe and not thinking about
Yeah,
scenes, not thinking about getting the flu.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't think it's going to stick. Not over here. I mean, people are desperate to get rid of the masks. Whereas, I mean, I actually think it's quite a nice idea that if you have a cold, wear a mask. You know, as a general rule for life. I think that's an okay thing. But I don't think the Brits will go for it particularly.
I don't know. I'm confident that in this little piece of the world, this huge world we live in, or this little piece of the world, which is like the synths community or the Eurorack community, events like Superbooth. I do hope that people that will go there have some sort of, I don't know, ideals or decency.
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
to say. I mean, it's not like you are gonna go to the pub and drink beers with strangers. I don't know. I think that people will do the right thing.
I think
We all
so.
do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Superbooth will police it as well. I mean, they seem to they've set out their table as to this is how it's going to be, and you have to have this, and this. I mean, when I first read the information when I was writing out for Gear News, I kind of I was reading the requirements. They need an EU approved vaccination passport to show that you've got both vaccination jabs, and I'm going, well, we don't have that. There's been all sorts of arguments about vaccination passports in the UK, and I'm thinking, well, what on earth are we going to do then? And then they were saying, well, in that case, if you don't have that, then you'll need to do a flow test on the day. And it's not right. So I'm going to fly out from Stansted at 5 o'clock in the morning. Where am I going to get a test? You know, when's that going to happen? I'm going to have to wander the streets of Berlin looking for a pop-up, COVID test lab, and then what happens when I get there? I have no clue how any of that works. So the whole idea of trying to get through that to go to Superbooth just seems too enormous. But however, I have learnt since that there is there is an NHS app like so, which will, if you've had your vaccinations, it will tell you or show that they are there and they are valid, and that is apparently a valid EU passport in terms of vaccination for us idiots in the UK. So that's a relief. So I could potentially get there and potentially go along without having to, as I say, try to find some kind of testing place. So that's good. Yes, Wishbone, thank you for that is indeed the thing. So there's hope for us yet. So yeah, I do hope to go. I was actually reminded about a conference I went to a few years ago. It was a Star Trek convention in Birmingham, I think it was. And to see our hero, our family hero, who is Will Wheaton, who played Wesley Crusher in The Next Generation, of course, as everybody knows. And so we had an opportunity to meet Will Wheaton, right? There's a reason for this story. Just stay with me. And his policy is he won't touch anybody, because he's been at too many Comic Cons where he gets some horrible flu or worse, foot and mouth disease or something just horrible. And so he just won't do it. So he's there and he smiles, but he will not have physical contact with anybody. And it feels really prima donna-ish, it feels like, yeah. But fair enough. He's got to be there 12 hours a day, smiling for another photo. He'll just get ravaged with disease. At least that was his angle. So he just didn't touch anybody. No one was allowed to touch him, and you were told you must not touch him when you had your photo. And funnily enough, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's Will Wheaton. But I'm pretty sure that they photoshopped you. So when you had, because my wife had a photo with him, and they're actually quite close together. So I think they take the photo, and then just before it prints out, they go squish it together, so it looks like he's almost got his arm around you. So, but it's wise, I think that's the way of things. Don't touch. Okay. Keep your mask on when you're talking to me, and maybe the volume has to come down a little.
What I think is that maybe we could set like chromas on the back of every Superbooth stand, a chroma in green, big. So I can be there talking about that. You could be away from me, not touching, and then with the chroma we can easily put you there, no, like you are close.
Well, the other thing would be like the noiseless disco things that do wireless discos. You know, you have headphones
Yes,
which are all wired into the system wirelessly, and so as you
that's
walk
very
from
good one.
booth to booth, you can have a conversation without having to get in each other's faces. Maybe that's a thing.
That's a thing. That's a thing. Maybe you will need to clean the headphones from moment to moment. But it's a best way to have someone listening, and you can be tweaking, and
Mm.
the person can be 1 meter away and still
Oh no,
listening.
I mean no,
It's
I
good.
mean something more elaborate. We each get issued our super booth headphones that you keep with you the entire time, and
Ah, ah, ah,
as you
ah.
get close to a booth, it automatically connects in and feeds you
Like
their feed.
museums,
Yeah,
like
exactly,
museums that you have this
exactly.
thing, and then you get there, press 23, beep up.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's the way. That's the way.
Claro, claro,
Yeah, that's
claro.
the
So
way.
you have your boot number, and then you tune into the beep beep beep. You are listening now to Befaco.
Yes.
I guess that the organization of the event is gonna love this idea. No? Like saying, hey, you know what you should do? We thought that a system like in the museums is the way to go,
It's the
and they
way to
will
go.
do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's the way to go. Although it will, I mean, you'll find people standing in between two stands trying to, yeah, can I get this one? Get that one? I don't know. I don't know. Well, you know, it's the future, I think. It's the
Yeah,
future.
but maybe we should organize something, Robin.
Hmm.
There is something here between the chromas and the museum switching system. We have a
No,
thing here.
definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, anything to stop people talking in my face. I mean, I guess that's the thing.
Yeah. This year, by the way, this year we are doing again the modular day. The
Oh,
event,
yeah.
this streaming you were so kind to attend last
Mm.
year. That was a weird situation because of the thing. But this year we want to do something similar, but with people. So things are improving, and if it's right now we can do events for 30 people, 30, 40 people. So maybe making an event for 80, 90 people.
Mm.
So I want just to let you know. So maybe you want to join us on some way with distance, and participate on the event. Well,
Yeah.
I tell everyone here on the chat that
Everyone's invited round
yeah,
Manu's
come along.
place.
No, not Manu's place. Well, every year when we do the event, we have been. This will be the eighth event, so it's 8 years
Wow.
doing this, and normally we do it on September, more or less. September this year is going to be beginning of October, because it's still good weather here in Barcelona.
Yes.
So for manufacturers, it was like saying, "Hey guys, you can come to Barcelona. We do this event. It's nice here. You can go on holidays and enjoy life, basically." And it worked. So for example, all the Dutch Armada, all the Dutch manufacturers, they have been coming to Barcelona every single year, all of them. I have all the Dutch here, they are in this room here on the floor, like having Poltas and guys, Gisques, Tom and Ginkgo guys
Oh,
sleeping
yeah.
around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
house. So yeah, they tend to be like that. Maybe it's not the time, no, to fill the house with Dutch people, but it happened. It happened. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
So,
hopefully this year people can come. Hopefully.
yeah. No, that's something to hope for, I think. Something to hope for. Someone asks in the chat whether you've had any problems with chips and supply and all that kind of thing. Has that affected you at all?
Interesting topic. So that's the thing. There is a huge problem on the supply in general, and it started to feel first with microcontrollers and digital chips. So yeah, to make the old board, this board you just showed,
Mm.
we had to gather the components here and there and buy it from different providers, gather parts enough to do a run, and then ship it to the factory. So it's been challenging. Luckily, Befaco has some digital modules. Uh, Rebel have some digital module, but it's not like the main thing. So people that
Yeah.
mostly have digital modules, they did struggle. But the funny thing is that they say, no, the chips problem, the chips, it's everything. It's everything. So we are all buying from the same 2, 3 potentiometers factories, and they are giving 6, 7 months lead times. So you
Wow.
want pots, wait for 7 months. You want knobs, 9 months. And then you say, okay, that's plastic. So it's chips shortage, or it's just the whole providers chain which is having a hard time to cope with demand, or I don't know. Maybe we could get paranoid and say, no, this is something that was prepared.
Yeah, I don't
But
know. I mean, is is it all pandemic associated? Or is that just a coincidence, or is it because people aren't
it
working in
has to be.
factories or
No,
something?
it has to be. So the thing is that the pandemic hit first in China. So
Yes.
when we were happy and nothing was wrong in China, they were pretty, but they were as bad as we all have been on our own country. So we were there, and we were already struggling at the beginning of 2020 to get supplies, because the Chinese, they went on holidays. They had their New
Yeah.
Year in
Yeah.
February. So they went on holidays, and there it's crazy. It's the time of the year where everybody moves everywhere. So it's like mayhem,
Yes.
communication, people get into
Yeah.
trains. So what they did is say, okay, you go on holidays, but you do not come back. So the for us it was like, oops, these people are not working. These people is not working. These people is not working. And then they started to work slowly, slowly, slowly. So let's say that the whole 2020, I guess that for factories, has been a way of stopping and then slowly starting and then implementing all these measures of working safely. So I bet that, on my own experience, that if you keep on adding up, you can add more delays here and there. Everything is slower in also in their supply chain. I'm guessing here. And then we are seeing the consequences a few months later.
Yes. Yeah.
And now and also, as in this case in particular, where we have been selling machines to people that are in at home. So people were really buying stuff because they were at home. And then I guess that this increase of demand from us will also, I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
No,
complicated.
sorry. Are you under attack? I mean, I think that's the second gunshot I've just heard. I mean, there was a siren earlier. Are you all right?
Ah, amigo. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You can see that people are going to the streets now in Spain and having fun. Yeah, the
Oh,
thing is
having
that,
fun. Right. Okay.
yeah,
You know,
it looks like.
shooting in the air, that kind of thing.
No, no, no,
Yeehaw!
no. There are
Underlay.
fireworks. Are fireworks.
Oh, fireworks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing is that every year, the 24th of June is San Juan. It's like
Okay.
the summer solstice. So that is like this thing that has been happening since ever, where people this night were celebrating the solstice, blah, blah, blah. So the thing is that people go to the beach, they do big fires, and they do fireworks
Yeah.
like maniacs. So 17th, and you already can hear
Yeah. Yeah. I say
the
it's a little
fireworks.
early. Good job we didn't do it next week.
Try to imagine living on the city center with everybody. Bah, 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 bah. So try to imagine if you have animals, a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
fireworks.
I see. Okay. So the chip shortage then wasn't anything to do because before the pandemic we had all this trouble with graphics cards and people buying up. Um, a lot of computer technology seemed to be disappearing into
Yeah,
eBay or other things for
but
outrageous
that's
prices.
mining.
Yeah, that
It's a
seemed to be mining. So that seemed to be a
it's mining
different
thing.
thing. Yeah.
It's a different thing. With all this free time I had, or time at home that I had, I was picking around, and I got a beef graphic cards.
Ah, well done. Well done. There's been no luck for me. So you're going to be doing a Bitcoin generating module then? What can you mine control voltage?
Try to imagine.
Is that a
No, but
thing?
right now, one graphic card to mine, it's like this big. So if
Yeah.
you have a very
Very shallow
deep,
case.
deep case, so you can put one there and then put CV control maybe on the overclocking parameters, and then you can overclock it and change the fan speeds and see how your mining capabilities change.
Yes. Yeah.
Could be
Barney in the chat, by all means ask a question. I imagine we're kind of feeling like we're coming to a little bit of a close, I think, but by all means throw a question in there. I'm sure Manu is happy to answer anything that's not too personal. And myself included, I'm always good for questions. Ask me anything. I've always got an opinion. Although, let's not talk about anything controversial this evening, if that's okay. We'll save that for my Molten Monthly at the end of the month, and then you can really all just lay in there with your. No, I won't even get started. That would be great.
Are you gonna be raging by any chance?
Me raging? No, I don't think so. I'm very calm about these things often. Mostly, I get emotional. Absolutely, I do have emotional reactions to some things, but the current things which have been talked about, no, I'm very calm and kind of reasonable, I think, about it all. And I'm sitting here going, why is everybody shouting? What's all this shouting about? But there we go. But yes, I'll talk about that. Where are we now? 17th. So next week? What's next week? Probably, I don't know. Oh, the month is feeling weird. I don't quite know where the end of the month comes. So I'm not quite sure when I'll be putting out my monthly, but it'll be towards the end of the month. And then we'll have our live stream, and then you can tell me how wrong I was about everything. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Talking about stream, have you considered, I think that I already made this question to you. I will do it again. Have you considered about having a Twitch channel?
Yes.
And doing your live streams over there?
Yeah, I have. I do, in fact, have a Twitch channel. Which I've used once because that was the method by which I was going to be live streamed into somebody else's Twitch stream in order to do a performance. So in order to make that happen, I had to have my own Twitch channel, which I remember when Twitch first came along, I thought, maybe there's an opportunity here to get in on the front foot of something and start doing something that you'll suddenly become massive on, one of those ideas. But I just never had the time, and also I couldn't navigate where I was supposed to be. I'm trying to make some music. I'm amongst all this gaming community, and I don't know where I'm supposed to place myself or how to do it, and the whole thing was just too baffling ultimately. But I do have such things, and I was really interested in this. Microsoft were running this thing a year or so ago where they were trying to do this almost like real-time live performance within Twitch, I think. Well, no, it was within their version of Twitch, which then closed down. Yeah, about a week after they closed it down. But, so there were some real possibilities of stuff going on in there. And also I liked the potential of the interactive interface. It's more interactive than YouTube is. YouTube's all right, you've got chat going on. But on Twitch, you could, I don't know, there's other forms of interaction going on which I thought could be quite interesting, although they are largely naff, I have to say. Emojis, ooh, exciting, that's really great. So I don't know, but
I think it's just a different flow. So I find it more casual, more you start streaming and the adventures began, and people that are there are not gonna be expecting like a perfect production or setup. It's the main process of actually doing that. It's a thing, and it provides some real-time feedback nicely. For example, if you are patching, you hit stream, and you are patching there. Maybe people will pop in or not. Or if you are building a module, you are there, you hit stream, and you are there soldering. Instead of talking to yourself, you are talking to the 2 or 3 guys that are going to be connected.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. I mean, I really like the idea of that because, making DIY videos is actually quite difficult, complicated with cameras set up. You've got to have your camera, you've got to have your other camera, or at least the way I do it. I've got an overhead camera, I've got a time-lapse camera, I've got the side camera, I've then got recording sound separately. You've then got the lights you've got to set up. I've got to have a fan which is blowing away the air but not blowing into the mic. everything's got to be working at the same time. And at the same time, I'm kind of also at work, and so having to check emails and backwards and forwards. So there's a lot of, trying to get it off the ground is quite an effort. And I like the idea of just turning on one camera and doing something, that does really appeal. I just don't know if I have something set up in order to make that happen. I guess I could use my bleeding phone, couldn't I? That would be the way, of doing it.
You can use your phone.
Do things a bit simpler.
I guess that it's the scope of what you are doing, no? So if you are doing a demo or a video, a YouTube video where a certain level of quality is expected, it's normal that you need to prepare that. What I'm liking a lot from these ways it's the authenticity. So you are there building something, and if you're facing a problem, you are facing a problem.
Yes.
And people will actually share that problem or that struggle. In general, they might even help you. So I really find very interesting the real process of it. Not me as a manufacturer. Yeah, I want a video that it's nice and will sell models. But I guess that from a content creator perspective, I think it's more a matter of sharing. I heard you having this speech, no, like sharing your journey.
Yes,
like real time. So it's not like your lighting is gonna be nice and then your production team is gonna be makeup.
Well, this is the thing. I actually work really hard at making it look shabby, and it just inevitably is. I mean, my DIY videos, for instance, are rough and are done in real time often. I just cut it down because I know that it's going to be far too long otherwise, and people can't sit through 3 hours of something when and so on. So I do bring it down, but then you're up against this idea of quality, and you do want to put forward something that looks relatively professional, not crap, in other words. And so you do end up using 2 cameras and another shot, and so these things kind of make themselves complicated, because you're trying to do a good job at the same time as not trying to make it look like you're trying to do a good job, if that makes sense.
The problem of this thing is when you are doing something because you like it, is when it starts to feel like a job.
Yes.
It's like you are doing something and you are doing it because you really like it, but at some point you have some pressure put that it's a job.
Yeah. Well, that happens. It's happened to me. I mean, certainly I think in the last 6 months we've lost a few YouTubers. Certain people aren't making videos at the moment, and so there's been a gradual increase in pressure, or certainly I've suddenly had a lot more work. I think perhaps is a way of putting it, and that's been quite a challenge, trying to fit it all in. And some of it does get frustrating if you can't get something right first time. It does get hard, because it's beyond a hobby. I'd like to think of it as a hobby, but it's beyond that these days. But it's good. I'm still hanging in there. I'm still enjoying it, which is the key
that means
thing.
that you have the chance or the capacity of being cranked to 11 and still being there, not that crazy.
Yeah, I'd like to turn it down a notch. I'm going to say no. I mean, someone's going to ask me something soon, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, and it's like it will be. Oh, I don't know. It will be Buchla or somebody saying, would you like to try out this enormous Buchla thing? And I go, no, certainly not. I'm too busy. I've got another Volca to review. I'll have you know. So you can keep your music easel.
So, thank you.
So that could happen.
Yeah.
But we do have to all try to look after ourselves. I think even Gaz is taking a break at the moment. I mean, he's been absolutely prolific with his twice weekly, isn't it? His live streams he's been doing. Just amazing. And he says he's taking a couple of weeks off. Don't blame you, mate. Don't blame you, because it's hard. I mean, strangely, if you haven't seen me much this month, because I did something like 12 videos or something last month, which is too many. But I've done the same this month. It's just that none of them are released yet, so I'm not allowed to show you anything. So they're kind of sitting around. I've got like a whole page of videos going, just waiting for someone to say it's okay to make them happen. So, but that's good. That'll be nice when it happens, you know. So, always good stuff to come. Can I tell you what I've got coming up? I wonder.
Please.
No, probably not. Oh, well, I can tell you. Well, yeah, okay. I mean, just coming up on modular very soon is I've got a case in from a new case company, a new UK case company. It's over there in a box. It's made of sort of veneered MDF, I think. It was on Gear News a couple of weeks ago. I think I put something on there about it. It's a sort of a modular case, which is kind of cool. So I'm really looking forward to having a bit of putting that together. I have no idea whether it comes with a power supply or anything, so I haven't opened it yet. But so I'm going to be doing something on that soon. And to go along with that, I think I'm going to fill it full of those Behringer 2500 modules that I've got that are just taking up space all over the place. So I'll get that together because I've now got the two oscillators through. Two oscillators, one oscillator. I bought two of them because I thought that would make a better thing. So I'm going to actually put together a 2500, I think, because I don't know what a 2500 sounds like other than Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you know. So I'll put them all in and pretend like I know what I'm talking about and make noises. So that's quite good. I should I should have my hands on a Brains soon too from Behringer. So that's for that's on behalf of somebody else. I haven't bought one. They're not sending it to me. They're sending it to a magazine who are sending it to me, just so that you understand the flow of things. So I should have a go at that soon as well. Yeah, no, that's about it. Should we show them this thing, or are we not going to show them?
I got instructions to
Okay.
tell you not to show it.
Not to show. Okay. Well, okay.
Let's tell people that it's something new from Rebel Technology.
Yeah, so there is a new little box we were hoping to show, but it's just not quite ready. Not quite ready for public view yet. So we do have a little thing that's coming from Rebel Technology that will be along soon, and so that's exciting. So that's something else to think about. It might be in a Instagram photo that I did fuzzily.
Yeah,
it's not.
I mean,
you know, it might be in that from earlier. But sorry about that.
We are not very good at keeping secrets.
No,
in fact,
terrible at that kind of thing.
It's so difficult. It's so difficult. When something is there, it's there. You have it. It's there. It's there. You cannot show it. It's just not the right time. It's better to time things a little bit.
Yes.
For example, we had this. There is someone on the chat asking for the noise plethora, which is a module that we are working in, and was there on a video. And we said, it's there on the video. Leave it there. Who's gonna realize?
Well, this is the thing with the picture I took of Instagram. I just took a picture. I'm doing a live stream later, you know, just a quick shot of the corner, and somebody blew it up and said, "What's this?" It's like, I don't know. That's just sitting underneath. It's a thing that I can't possibly say what that is. So one has to be careful. I mean, I do have other things knocking around which I'm not allowed to show people. And I used to find that really annoying when other people did it. And now I'm doing it because I'm so exciting these days. So that's
I'm guilty.
Good.
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we probably better pull this. Oh yeah, no, any more questions?
If you don't mind, I'm gonna answer some questions from the chat.
Do go for
Someone is asking to recommend a power brick manufacturer. Yeah, I will say Meanwell all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most reliable manufacturer out there. They have a wide range of bricks and little things and different things with good specs. So yeah, go for them. We are working with other providers, other brands that are found on any shop in Europe, DME, is selling these power bricks, which you can get also from our shop, blah blah blah. But the truth is, like, meanwhile, it's unbeatable. So yeah,
Good tip. I mean, all of my stuff that uses the 12-volt supply or whatever have just been old laptop supplies. That's all I've used. Just I've had them knocking around and I've plugged them in. Oh, they seem to work. So that's been good from my point of view.
The last well, since that there are no. Yeah, the next model, someone is asking for the next model, so it will be this Rebel thing.
Yes.
And it will be that Befaco model. But anyway, we are working on too many things.
Well, Nick is asking about remote or outdoor power recommendations, because this is something which I'm currently embroiled in. As in my head, I've got a whole chunk of my head which is chewing over mobile modular, and I was planning this month was going to be the month I was going to get out and do that, but unfortunately I got completely snowed with work and I haven't had time to give it any time. But going mobile, going outside and being able to use your modular out in the wild is a very interesting thing. I mean, you see modular on the spot often, but that tends to be big generators and lots of cables everywhere. But I did see today on Facebook someone who's built a battery pack into their case, which I thought was a nice idea, and he gets 3 hours out of it on a single charge. And he's using like a scooter battery, which is quite extraordinary. But I'm
searching for that link.
Yeah, it's been interesting that that there doesn't seem to be much of a consensus on it. Lots of people do it in lots of different ways, and everyone has an idea about it. So people are forever telling me, "Oh, yeah, you need a car battery charger or something." And I just have this vision of these two great big crocodile clips that I'm trying to get into my case somewhere in order to power it from a car battery recharge situation. That just doesn't seem right somehow. I'm pretty sure that I could do a case of this size. Hang on, just make sure. Sorry. 1 second. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm doing that. Oh no, I'm going the other way. There we go. So, something of this size. I reckon I could do that off some kind of laptop battery, off a laptop recharger. Because, I mean, this has an internal power supply, which comes off the side here, over there. But I've also built in this Befaco power supply, funnily enough, which is connected to the same bus board so that I could run it off just DC supply. So rather than getting an AC power pack that I have to plug this into, which then steps it into DC and steps it down to 12 volts or whatever it is that this needs, you could use something more like this and go directly in with DC at 12 volts or 15 volts or whatever it is that it needs. And that's a much simpler way of powering the system, I think. So that's what I'm aiming to do, something. I mean, I only want an hour. I don't want 3 hours of play. I just want to be able to take it out, sit on a field, play some stuff. That's not how you play modular. Play some stuff. And go home, and
it's gonna depend a lot on the models you choose. So if you have 4 things and Variegate and a few other power hungry models, it's gonna go down quickly. But if you get models that will not draw too much current, that are funny enough for you to wiggle around, you do a system then you can easily get these 3 hours. Well, easily. I don't know. I haven't done this before. It's by theory with the batteries you have out there. If you keep the power consumption down, you can get a welcome. You just go there to the countryside under a tree, and you have I guess that half an hour under a tree making some music. It's fantastic already.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the thing with it is that I'm sure it's not difficult. I've convinced myself that none of this is difficult. And the only reason why it appears difficult is because, as I say, there's no consistency out there and nobody's made a video on it specifically, that kind of thing. So I'm keen to blunder my way in, buy something off Amazon, plug it in and go, way, and we're off. So that's the plan. I mean, it's all down to, you've got milliamp hours. So, I mean, if you're running, a case of this size will run 2 amps, do you think? 2 to 3 amps maybe? At least that's what modular grid tells me. So that'll do...
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, 2 amps then maybe? Maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about.
2 amps, it's not like a lot for a normal power supply.
Yeah.
But if you want to run it out of battery, it needs to be like a clunky one to drive you through a couple of hours.
Yes.
Difficult.
Yeah.
I think that also depends on the power supply. Some power supplies, they can be driven by lower voltages or lower currents.
Okay.
For example, the Befaco one, the pose give, that's pretty hungry.
Interesting.
Anyway,
well, I mean, it's going to be an experiment. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be an experiment. I mean, I see that Ken's in the chat, and me and him have had a chat about it already previously. It's easier to do than one thinks. I mean, again, it's one of these Eurorack things where you just don't know until you try. A lot of people have a huge amount of engineering knowledge, and they bring that to the table. But mostly, I find that sort of engineering downloads tend to be preventative. They tend to be, you can't possibly do that, mate, because you need to be able to work this out and this out and this out. And it's like, oh, really? Can't I just plug it in and try? So, people tend to over-engineer, I find, with these sorts of things and prove to you that it's impossible or unlikely or shouldn't really be done, or it requires complex and expensive machinery. And so I'm, that automatically makes me go, no, there has to be a simpler way. That has to be cheap from China. I'm going to plug it in. It'd be 30 quid. And I won't catch fire.
Most likely, if you do that, you are not going to get like the perfectly desired behavior, but you're going to get something out of it. And you're going to be able to play your scene for some time. Yeah. So maybe engineeringly wise, like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not nothing taken away from the wisdom. It's just the one has to risk these things. I mean, someone in the chat was just mentioning about power surges. Are you going to get a power surge from a battery? Is that a thing we have to worry about?
A power surge?
I don't know. So anyway, but this is the thing. I don't know. That's the thing. So, but my belief is that this level of electronics that we have in Eurorack has got to the point now where you don't have to understand how power supplies work in order to plug a power supply in. So, we've elevated, or rather we've dumbed it down to the point where you can just plug stuff in and it will more or less work, and that's a good and healthy thing, I think. We've left the days behind where you had to engineer your own power supply or craft your own case in order to make it work. So
what I think is that, again, it's a matter of expectations. So someone that it's expecting to have a fully working system today that will last for hours and the power is stable, no. Yes. It's not a matter of the goal. I think that it's more the way it takes you to that eventual goal that most likely you wouldn't get, but the process of doing it, you will find things and then you will find yourself learning new things and making it work. This magical moment that it works for 3 minutes, but it works.
3 minutes of beauty.
Wow. That's nice. And then at the end of the journey, you will remember those engineer-based people that told you, no, that's impossible. Cannot be done. So, yeah, but I tried, and now I understand what you meant.
Yes.
But it sounded for 3 minutes, and it was awesome.
That's right. I've lost 3 fingers, but I had a wonderful time. But it's a continuing journey. I'm going to have to just actually get on with it at some point. I mean, I have made, putting together this particular patch for tonight was part of my process of trying to create a single case, just this 204 HP 2 rows of something I'm going to use as my mobile rig. That's the idea, is just to use that. And playing with it this afternoon and going, well, I can't actually make anything like what I thought I would be able to. I've got 2 things happening. That's rubbish. So I'm going to need to put a lot more thought into that as well. And in fact, the Morph Fader really came into its own because it gave me a way of changing everything. Otherwise, I just had 2 things happening, 2 very standard synth voices. So, a lot of thought's going to need to go into that. Because once you start focusing in, you then have to, I think, I'm finding myself having to learn how to play that thing as an instrument. I mean, Marlar Melodies did a video about this recently, about learning your rig, which is not something I've really been able to do because I've got a expansive, moving around, changing, evolving rig. So I'm more like just playing and moving around and playing and trying this out. But once I'm focused in on something, then I really do have to learn what the variegate is about, and I do have to get to the bottom of it, and other modules as well. And that's really interesting. I'm quite looking forward to that level of focus and detail onto a smaller system. Kevin, you're really a bit of a downer, mate. I have to say, you're lining us up with, "Whoa, you're never going to get your power. It's going to surge. It's going to smoke. Won't hear very good. There'll be noise on the thing." Sorry, I don't mean to take the piss at all. I'm sure you know what you're talking about. But this is kind of the difficulty of. It can be done, it can't be done. I don't know, you're probably right. Yeah, absolutely, I'm sure you're right. And I mean, don't mean anything. It's just, come on, there has to be hope in there somewhere, doesn't there, mate? There has to be like, oh no, just plug it in and it'll work. Don't give me a sad face, or that made me feel terrible. But come on, we can do it, or at least you can watch me fail at it. I mean, that'll be amusing, and that'll cheer people up.
Kevin will be the one that told you, remember?
Yes.
Remember? Yes. I told you. But at least you made your own choices and find it fail or not. Because something that I'm amazed is how the 21st century is starting to feel like the 21st century. No? We are currently seeing technologies that are really not breaking through. It's not like the wheel. But suddenly you have these little power bricks thingies, very cheap, that give you 2.5 amperes. So suddenly we have been arguing about the power hungry modules and no, we need to keep the consumption down. And then you realize that out there are monster power supplies available, and then your conception might change. Of course, the problems are there, the power,
yes,
but then you by the process of trying to find an alternative or something crazy, you realize that there were someone crazier than you before, which is nice. So you might find one of these monster power banks, 21st century gaming capability thing. I don't know.
Sorry, I just trod on a bloody resistor leg. I end up with them in my feet. Sorry.
I don't know what they're talking about. Never ever happened to me, nor with ICs. With an IC socket? Never.
No, I haven't done that.
Like walking barefoot and
I love
my feet.
I love being barefoot, but if you've seen any of my DIY videos, you know I'm very much into a twang, boom, off goes this. So I'm my own worst enemy. Absolutely my own worst enemy with that kind of thing. Right, well look, it's 10 o'clock. Hey?
It's 11 o'clock here.
It's 11 o'clock where you are.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just to finish this
yes.
stories. It's like every time something falls like this, like boing, and goes flying, and then you search for something, you find like 2 or 3 stuff, and it's like I only lose 1 resistor. Why I'm finding 3 resistors and a capacitor?
Yeah. I've managed to I don't think I've ever lost anything. I mean, I've always found it, which is ridiculous considering the sort of floor I've got. But I've been very lucky with that. I've always managed to, because I don't have spares. It's one of those things that, again, people assume that if you're doing DIY, you must have whole racks of all resistors and stuff. And no, I don't. I just have what came in the kit, and that's my lot. So
we were considering if putting extra stuff on the kit, but then we think that it might cause confusion. Suddenly you have like 3 resistors more. Why I have 3 resistors more?
I mean, they seem to do that at SynthCube. I mean, the Descartes Dream kit that I have, there's almost always one extra. But then we're talking about 100 this and 100 that. Are we talking about that? I don't know, maybe. But quite long strips of stuff. And there do tend to be a few left over, so which is useful, I have to say. Have I ever broken... Well, no, I broke that thing on your lich, of course, recently. But other than that... yeah, no, I haven't done. So, yeah, well, anyway, so yes. Good. So, yeah, let's bring this to a close. It's been a couple of hours. I think that's worthwhile. I think that's been good.
It is. It's been very good, very good. So,
yes.
As usual, so pleased to share a couple of hours with you talking about stuff.
It's great. It's always good, mate. You're good value. I enjoy talking to you. So that's good. I do hope to do a video on the Euclid thing at some point, because that will be, I think, worthwhile doing that.
Well,
I hope to do something on the Morph Fader at some point, perhaps. It's just purely bandwidth as usual, but lots more goodies to come, as you know.
Yeah, you have Martin from Rebel Tech on the chat. So
yes,
you could use him.
Yes, he's something about his Y fronts.
No, I should send you an email and put you in contact. So just in case you find something fishy on the models, you can
sure,
back the guy.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to getting my lich finished. Yeah, I believe you have posted me a new part for the bit that I ruined, which is very good of you. So, I aim to get that finished as well soon, so I can have a look into what that's all about and have a go at explaining it.
Yeah, let me know once you get it working. There are a lot of new patches on the library. So we have the model with some patches, but the library it's ever growing, and there are some really amazing stereo VCOs that made figures. So if you visualize them on the scope, you have polygons or flowers.
Nice. I've no idea. Does anybody know if my O-Tool oscilloscope can that show those sorts of things? I've never seen it doing anything other than a single waveform.
I said yes too quick. Normally it's called the XY visualization. So instead of showing you,
I think it does have that. Yeah.
So instead of showing you the 2 waves, it's telling you the point where the 2 amplitudes of the waves are. So you have one wave moving like this and the other one moving like this. And then you have the point in the middle. So depending on the relation of those waves, then the point will be doing something.
Okay, got it. It's been a long time since I used a proper oscilloscope back in.
You will see it's great. And then you listen to it, and so for example when it's working with the space from one side to the other, you see that then the figure it's like rotating, and then you say rotation is bang. It's this kind of little detail. Of course there is math there, but if you visualize it, it's like you're gonna love it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, look forward to that. I mean, of course, I should have a Mordax like everybody else and do it properly. It's just, it's too ugly. It's too ugly for my rack. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit my my hipster aesthetic, I'm afraid. So I can't have one. It's just not.
If you have some kind of interface, you could use a scope on the computer.
Yeah, no, I do that. No, I do that on my Surface. People often ask. In fact, I use the same one as Loop-Pop does. The Melder Productions oscilloscope is very good. It's very good for visual indications and stuff. And although I've had, no, you haven't, because they're videos I haven't released yet. Because in those videos I just did, right, it was brilliant, right? Because I got this, so on my Surface, I've got Bitwig running, and I've got 2 plugins open, an oscilloscope, and the other one, spectrum thing. Those 2 things you run together, showing the waveform and showing the spectrum. They're doing their thing. Someone told me, get OBS, right? You can do desktop capture. So I did all that, had OBS running in the background, capturing the desktop, and it fails every time. And so I do my 2-hour video, which I cut down to half an hour, but there's 2 hours of footage. It's all going, and you export it and everything else and remux it, and it's stuffed up. It's just not doing it. And so I got so hacked off of this, but luckily I had a top-down camera, which was top-down on the modular, and had the surface there, but at a strange angle. So that sort of angle. So it's all parallaxed, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, through the magic of video, trimming and cropping and rotating and such like, I've kind of managed to square them off. So now I've got these 2 meters which run in my video, which are actually video of the screen as opposed to desktop screen capture, if that makes sense. I just thought that was pretty brilliant. I'm very sort of pleased with myself.
One of those videos you cannot show us.
Yeah, one of the videos I can't show you yet. But so look out for that, because you'll see my reflection in the thing. Because when Luke Pop does it, because he does it properly, he has these beautifully angled things going on behind the thing that he's reviewing. And that was what I was trying to go for, and it's just like, it's so me. It's unbelievable. But I might stick with it, because that's actually simpler. Rather than having yet another stream of video you've got to cut together, I've just got the same bit I'm using as the overhead. Oh, but then I've got all that fuss when I'm trying to read. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we should go, because we've wasted another 10 minutes of everybody's life again.
Yeah, poor people. Sorry guys. Sorry.
Yes. So thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a fun time. We won't go on about how fun it was again. We've already said that a few times. So we'll just probably clear off at this point. I would play you out with some music, but I'd ruined it. So there we go. We'll have a bit of a jungle way out or something. Oh, I don't know. So thanks for coming. That's been super. More videos to come. All sorts of stuff. Thanks to Manu for sticking with us and showing us his stuff. Yeah. So so until next time, go and make some tunes and things, and we'll see you. Thanks very much for that. Cheers. I'll embarrassingly find the button to turn this off. Hang on, it's just over here. There it is. There's the button. Okay.